We're on our new day, and not our new time, but new day on Tuesdays, and we're thrilled to be here with you. Hopefully some of you can make it to our new day and time.
Hello,
well, not
Veronica.
Time. Okay, so we have some fun. Or do we start right away? Yes. We're not going to waste your time. We decided we're going to keep these lives a little bit more concise. So,
because we know you're busy.
Because we know you're
busy.
We know
you've got stuff.
So we're just going to give you the information. And so glad you're here. So today we're talking about red raspberry leaf tea or raspberry leaf tea. Same thing. So the is there anything else? Any questions? First thing is, if you have any questions, pop on here. But we're just going to talk about red raspberry leaf tea. Something I should tell you is, did you know I'm an herbalist? A master herbalist, actually.
Yes.
That's what I went to school for. So I know weird.
For like 15 years? 20 years? 15 years.
Oh, it's been 15 years.
She's been 15 years.
Yeah.
That she's been a master herbalist.
But
and not only an herbalist, a master herbalist. That's really cool.
It makes me really cool.
She knows her stuff.
I know some things, and I love it. And actually, I love all the things, because pregnancy is one of those times with herbs in general, specifically, actually, that most everybody in the supplement field is just like, if you're pregnant, don't take anything, right? Like, it's consult your physician, just stay away.
Only a prenatal kind of thing, or
which the more you understand herbs, which are basically, herbs are food. Raspberries are food. It's a concentrated form of food. And what's cool about that is it's also an organic, meaning not organically grown, but so for example, let's say iron. Iron is a mineral, right? And that mineral is hard to digest through your body. I mean, your body can assimilate it and use it, but it's harder to digest. So when you have herbs or plants that go into the ground, their root system goes into the ground, and they absorb the iron, and then they use that iron, and it flows through their leaves and their fruit. It's pre-digested. So that's what we refer to it as, a pre-digested form of that mineral, vitamin, all of that. So when you use herbs, specifically plant-based or food-based herbs, then you are getting a pre-digested form of all your vitamins and minerals. So
it's easier to assimilate in your body, right?
So it's so much easier to assimilate in your body, and your body will use it a little bit more readily. So that's why I love herbs. And I love red raspberry because I love them. Red raspberry is one of my favorites. It is the mother herb, is basically it's the woman's herb.
That's awesome.
It's used pretty much for any ailment a woman might have. PMS, pregnancy, hormonal balance, all of it. Red raspberry is a really, really good usage herb for that. But we're going to speak more particularly about pregnancy and birth and beyond, because that's what we usually talk about.
That's why you're here.
That's why you're here.
Usually. Although Veronica says she's not pregnant, but she loves tea.
You love tea.
Which
it's a good time.
Awesome.
Okay, so I like sometimes to know the historical usages of tea, of herbs, because sometimes it's a little different than we use it now with studies and all those things. But so I like to know, what did the people know before they had, all the studies available to them? So historically, red raspberry, it's been documented to be used for the last 200 to 300 years. And it's always been used as a uterine tonic, and it still is used as a uterine tonic. So we'll talk to you about what that means a little bit more. But historically, specifically, it was used for prevention of miscarriage, decreased discomfort, and prodromal labor. What's prodromal labor?
Okay, you might have experienced it, you might not have, or you might have heard of it. Prodromal labor is when you have labor. It's when you're like you are at term, you're ready to like have a baby, but you keep having labor basically, but like for hours, and it's consistent, it's hard, you're having contractions, but then it stops. And then, a lot of times it's at night, so you're not getting any sleep, and then it stops, and then the next day, and then it starts again, and you start having labor, and it can be days, it can be weeks. Like prodromal labor is really hard on your body. It's hard labor,
drawn out forever,
and your body's not really progressing. It's just like experiencing labor for days.
And we're gonna tell you, and as we go through this, you'll see why it was used for prodromal labor. That's really hard to say. And then also, it's historically been used to decrease morning sickness. So interesting that the last 200 and 300 years, it's been used for these things. And actually, modern times, we have studies that show that actually all of these things are exactly what it's used for.
That's awesome.
So I know, I love it. Do you want to say what the vitamins, these are, I mean, it has a tons of vitamins and minerals, but these are what are high.
Okay, so vitamin A, C, and E are it's high in all of those. It has a great concentration of calcium and magnesium, iron, potassium, phosphorus, and manganese. Manganese.
Yes.
Which, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so it is, with herbs, there's different classifications of herbs, and red raspberry is an astringent and a stimulant. And we're going to talk about the stimulation properties of it a little bit later. But astringent means to tighten or to
flex.
Flex.
It's toning your uterus.
Yeah. So it's it's an astringent, which is really, really cool. And a stimulant. So here's an interesting thing about this herb. And it's interesting only because childbirth is so flex. So red raspberry leaf relaxes tight uterine muscles.
Okay.
It also tightens relaxed uterine muscles.
Okay, so here's a little like tidbit of information, which we'll get into more in depth in other topics. But your uterus is actually 3 layers of muscle. It is a muscle. It is an organ. But so the outside muscle, the outside layer is like flexes when it has a contraction, or when you're having period cramps or anything like that. The outside layer flexes, and it's supposed to tighten and flex and like that. Well, the inside layer has these, let me get a little higher, has circular fibers like this. So these outside layers flex like this longitudinally, and the inside layers are this way, and they're supposed to be softened and relaxed. So it's like the same as a muscle group. So you've got your bicep and your tricep. When you flex your bicep, your tricep relaxes, but vice versa. When you flex your tricep, you can't see it in the other one, but when you flex your tricep, your bicep relaxes. So it's the same thing. Red raspberry leaf like does both of the things at the same time. So
it tightens the muscles that need to be tightened, and it relaxes the muscles that need to be relaxed.
These ones.
And that is why it's used. It's so good for prodromal labor. It's good for your to create an effective contraction. So and keep going.
Well, I was just gonna say, and the best part about an effective contraction is, if you have an effective contraction, you have less contractions, because it's doing what you need to do the best way possible, so it shortens your labor.
Yes, and it's actually it is studies prove that it shortens your labor, because it creates a consistent or effective contraction. And the reason it does that is because it increases blood flow. It increases the blood flow to your uterus. So not only you've taken it from your second trimester on, and it's creating this really great muscle tone in your uterus, and it's sending lots of vitamins, minerals, and blood flow to your uterus. And so then when it starts the things it's supposed to be doing, those contractions, it's all primed and ready to go. So it's really, really good. So we've talked about it strengthens the uterus. It improves your labor outcome, meaning shorten labor.
And your uterus is working at optimal position.
Yes.
Plus so the 3 layers of the uterus, the outside layer flexes, the inside layer relaxes, but that middle layer is actually full of blood vessels, and so that's where the blood comes in. So seriously, red raspberry leaf tea has it all. It
yes
functions and helps every aspect of the uterus.
So I'm going to tell you 2 specific studies about red raspberry leaf tea. Were done in Australia, and they were done in the 1999 to 2002 range of time. And actually, several of the studies said that red raspberry leaf was effective in reducing complications that needed medical interventions, such as C-sections, forceps, and vacuum delivery. So it reduces the need for medical intervention because your uterus is functioning
and not overstimulated. So it can plus it's toning, like the red raspberry leaf tones that muscle, and so it is more effective, and because of that it doesn't fatigue as fast.
Yes. And I thought this was an interesting study that was done, is that women that took red raspberry leaf tea were less likely to go overdue or have premature births.
Which you will find that in a lot of labor tonics. There's some fantastic ones out there that they always have a good portion of their tonic is red raspberry leaf.
It really is so awesome. Something that has not been studied but is kind of going around the circle is that red raspberry might be beneficial, and not just beneficial, but really important for women that are considering having a VBAC, because it strengthens your uterus, and a stronger uterus is less likely to rupture. So, because that's the issue with their feedback, a lot of doctors are afraid that the uterus will rupture. It rarely happens.
That's the number one concern.
Yeah, that's the number one concern.
With a VBAC.
But it's so toning for your uterus that you're less likely to rupture. Again, that's not been studied, but that's kind of the
assessment.
That's the thing. Now, with 2 other parts, red raspberry leaf. Okay, so historically, and actually still a lot of midwives specifically will use red raspberry leaf tea to stimulate labor. And they've done lots of studies on if it does stimulate labor, and there is no, it's not looking like it's effective. It's effective enough to do that. So, but because we don't want to stimulate labor ever, we always, I always suggest that you do too, don't you? Suggest that you start consuming red raspberry leaf tea in the 2nd trimester. 1 to 3 cups of tea, or like,
just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, just to be on the safe side. Though, if you are really struggling with nausea, it's really good for nausea too, actually.
So maybe just like 1 cup.
So 1 cup, but if you are nervous about preterm labor,
have a history of that,
history of miscarriage, just go ahead and only start it in your 2nd trimester of pregnancy. 1 to 3 cups a day. I did capsules.
Well, yeah, I saw
a lot
because I don't love tea.
I do. I love tea,
and so you can get them in capsules, and that's, I think, more helpful.
Capsules are awesome, but yeah, if you have a hard time swallowing, like if you're nauseous or don't feel really great, then tea is perfect, and so are capsules if you don't want to taste it, if you have issues with taste. Also, once you have that baby and you had a really effective labor and delivery, and you have the baby in your arms, don't stop drinking your red raspberry leaf tea, because it can help with milk production as well.
Yeah.
So
So it's awesome.
And it helps to balance postpartum hormones. That's another thing.
Yeah, hormones.
That it will do. So I suggest like 3 months after to keep taking your red raspberry leaf tea 3 months after, and then you want to keep on drinking it after that, because then you start your period again.
You need more balancing and PMS and all that.
Because it regulates your hormones. It actually can help your period be lighter and less length. Yes, thank you.
Lengthy.
Is that
I don't know
word?
that we took out a few words in there. It's not a full sentence.
Not a full sentence, but those are the kind of like highlights of what you did. Oh, yes. Oh, Veronica. Okay, Veronica's asking about making red raspberry leaf tea and consuming red raspberry leaf tea. What brand? And you are right. You helped us transition right into what we were talking about. So I just made this tea from the baby leaves. So I have a raspberry patch outside, and raspberries their first year of growth, they don't produce any fruit. It's their second year that they start producing fruit. So you want to find those new shoots, those baby shoots that you had, and when it's time to cut back your raspberries, cut those.
She just harvested this, a week, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I just harvested this from my first year growth leaves. They're more tasty. The second year leaves, once they bear fruit, they get a little bit of a bitter taste to them. So these are my first year baby leaves, and I did a whole video on how to harvest them and how to dry them and store them, but I'll just recap it really quick. I cut them back. I have a dehydrator, and I dehydrate my leaves on my dehydrator. It takes about 2 hours, and I dehydrate them on between 100 degrees and 115 degrees, depending on your dehydrator.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
If you don't have a dehydrator.
So if you don't have a dehydrator, it's super easy. You just tie a string on the end of your branches and hang them in a cool, dark place. So you don't want it to be too bright. The sun or the lots of light is unhelpful. But then it'll take a couple days before they're dry like this if you do not have a dehydrator. So I've never done it in an oven. It's hard to regulate the temperature of an oven.
Like my temperature will only go down to 170.
Oh, so okay. So it's too high.
Okay.
So don't try doing it in an oven. You don't want to cook them. You just want to dry them. So once they're dry, you just put them in a glass jar in a cool, dark area, and they're just little. Okay, so you need to know. Red raspberry leaf tea does not taste like raspberries.
No.
Like it tastes like
better than
an herbal tea. Yeah. It has a little fruity.
Yeah, but like sweet undertone.
It has a little sweet undertone, but it is it tastes like it tastes like a tea, an herbal tea.
An herbal tea.
And then I just bought this one brand new. My other one I can't find, but then you want to get a tea ball or a scoop or anything that has
bags that you can
or a bag. That's a good idea. That you can put your if you decide to harvest these yourself. I could just put a few leaves in there and then put it in my hot water and steep it for about 7 minutes and then drink. Is how you want to do tea. If you do not have tea, or if you do not have a patch of raspberries, this is a good one. So here's traditional medicinals. If you can't read that, you can buy this anywhere. At more of your
herb stores.
Yeah, and like health food stores.
Yeah, like the ritzier grocery stores. That I don't know if you. So like Walmart isn't
gonna have a.
but But we got this at our Fred Meyer.
Yeah, like stuff that has more of an organic section will typically have red raspberry, or it's just raspberry leaf tea. Amazon, you can get on there. It seems to be kind of expensive on Amazon. You can get it for a little less than that at your more local places. I like the Earth Mama Organics. I always recommend an organic tea because you don't. So the issue with pesticides is that they're estrogen. That's what they're super hormonal. So that's why you want organic, especially if you don't want extra hormones when you're trying to balance those out. So a tea. So here's a little trick that April and I have. April's going to tell you.
I don't love, especially when it's like herbally, but I like peppermint. So I actually always add peppermint to any tea, but especially raspberry leaf. So and then it just has it's mostly pepperminty taste with like some hinty of sweetness.
But it kind of dominates the flavor, and then
which I like.
Which is great, and peppermint is really good for your stomach, and it has a lot of value in and of itself.
It's refreshing. I like it. If you don't love peppermint, then you can do like honey.
Honey's good with it. You could put another tea that you like with it, like hibiscus, ginger, ginger would be great. Hibiscus, ginger. I like cinnamon-y teas, so like a chicory or something. So anyway, if there's any teas you like, if there's not any tea that you like and you think tea is disgusting and you want to poke your eye out because it's so gross, I get a capsule.
I get it.
There's lots of there's lots of places that capsulate. Nature Sunshine does capsules. What's it called now? I think does capsules. I don't love their stuff, but anyway, you can find capsules pretty much everywhere. So look online, look in your local health food store. Oh, Cheyenne had a question.
Yeah. So you'll want to listen to the beginning of this because we talked about red raspberry leaf tea and how awesome it is for every aspect of women, just in general, but specifically pregnancy and specifically end of term. So it strengthens your uterus and it helps to prep your uterus and give you more effective contractions. Like, it's fantastic. So you're going to want to, you're going to want to listen to it, but specifically drink red raspberry tea starting your second trimester. 1 to 3 cups a day. And another thing, Cheyenne, and all of you, is we know this is such good information. And so on Thursday, we are going to send out an email to our email list with a recap of all of this. So all the indications, all the, the history of it, everything that we talked about today, we will be sending a little recap so that you can have this information whenever you want it in your inbox. So sign up for our emails. We'll send them out on Thursday. If you haven't signed up, if you haven't signed up, go to our link or our bio, and then the link tree. It's the first little box.
Yes.
And it says like sign up for weekly or educational weekly emails or something like that. Sign up and you'll be on our list, and we'll send it to you.
We'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And you're a month from the baby.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Yes. Go out and get your. In fact, actually, you guys, we're gonna do a little giveaway. We're gonna give someone away who is on our email list, and
attended our live. So watched our live and is on our email list. We can figure that out, and we are going to send somebody both of them together, because we don't know if you have peppermint, and so we're gonna send you both.
And peppermint is really fantastic anyway.
Yes.
So if you've been here at all, we realize that sometimes you can't be here the whole time, but if you've been here and you're on our email list, we're gonna do a little giveaway and send one of you.
Yes, because we love when you come, and we love that you ask questions and that you hang out with us. And I know most people do giveaways with like tagging people, but we decided we just love our people that show up when we are here. So
can we tell you, we love you guys.
Yes, we do.
We feel a bond with you. We love when you message us. We love when we hear from you. You write, you tell us your stories. We love it. So we feel connected for sure. Yes. So
that you're seeing. Oh, you are I don't know if we're seeing your comments.
No, is that Becca?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh,
we aren't
on our
seeing.
No.
There's no comments.
That's not even showing up at all.
Sorry, Becca. I don't know why. That stinks.
Event logs.
I don't know.
I don't.
Sorry. If you have any questions, you just DM us. But we're so thankful that you're here, and we're excited to give somebody this really important stuff. And thanks, you guys. Thanks for being here. You just warm our hearts. Yes.
We love you.
Oh, Becca, that is weird.
That is weird. We'll check back and see what we can do and see if, because I mean, it's blank. We have nothing there. So that's so weird on our Facebook anyway. But we can see them on our Instagram, so I don't know what the deal is there.
Oh, well. Well, thank you again. Any questions, let us know. DM us, email us, but get on our email list, and we will be sending a lucky lady.
And do that, because periodically we will, like, depending on the topic, and we have several weeks worth of topics already like picked, and it has been included with people's DMs that they've asked us questions. And so if you do have any questions, seriously, let us know, because we will address them in lives. And depending on what the topic is about, we'll have some giveaways every once in a while. So
yes. Okay, but Autumn had a question about, do you feel that this will balance out hormones for infertility issues too? So interestingly, okay, so there's no studies to prove this, but anciently and historically, it's been used for fertility, to help with fertility. So the last 200 and 300 years have a very different environmental chemical pollution than we have in modern times. And so I do know that at least like the folklore of the midwives are that red raspberry leaf really did help with fertility. Because of our environment and, all the pesticides and chemicals that we breathe. I don't know. There's been no recent modern studies about that, but it's worth a try because it's food. It's just food. So if it helps with fertility, that is a bonus. It will help with your menstruation. So if the fertility issues are because of
hormonal imbalance,
your menstruation, like that your menstrual cycle is off or you're not ovulating, this actually can help with that. So I know I trust the ancient ancestors too. I love it. It always makes me. Yeah, I don't know why. I love to know the historical parts of things, because I feel like I take that into consideration about the same as I take in, current studies, because I love both. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's what I know about the infertility part of it. I'm going to look into it a little bit more and see what the parts of it would be used for fertility. But if you go by a plant, is there different kinds? I went to go buy mint and found peppermint, sweet mint, spearmint. Is there a different type, or usually just one? They're all herbally beneficial, but for a plant, specifically mint plant, it just is what taste you like. Oh, or raspberry. There are only really two kinds of raspberry plants. There's an everbearing and then a just normal once a year. I forgot what it's called. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But so any raspberry plant will create what you want. So it does not matter, because I grow both kinds of raspberry, and actually I know that there's probably like 13 different types of raspberry.
There's so many.
30 different types of raspberry.
And there's even like gold. I have some
golden raspberries.
And like
they're all the same. So this
is the leaf. So really the different type of raspberries. So you'll get like big ones, or you'll get ones that are good for jam, or there's a whole different type for the berry. But any of the leaf, you can harvest any of the leaves.
And they will be beneficial, any of the leaves. And then same with mint. Mint is just what flavor you like.
I personally like spearmint.
Spearmint is delicious. It has a little sweeter tone to it, I feel like.
Yeah.
I love peppermint. That's what I like. my favorite. And it's just really easy to get. So, but like you said, sweet mint. We used to have an herb. You had actually April worked there, an herb store, and we had
15 years ago.
Yeah. And we had a big garden, and we grew all of these herbs. Like, we sold them in our store, and then we grew them outside. And one of my favorite things to do was go outside and grab the mint leaves, and I would just chew on them. So I love sweet mint is delicious, but all of them are so good. But yeah, you can go buy the plant and then harvest the plant if you want to do that.
Like, if you're wanting to grow red raspberries, or just raspberries, like, you'll want to have them outside. Like, if you get a plant, you'll want to plant them outside because they shoot. They have shoots, and they get, within a couple of years, you can have a big patch. Yeah. So they're awesome. Just, if you're going to grow them, make sure it's a place that doesn't have, like, a ton of western sun. But they love water. They love water and sun. They do love sun.
But not like direct sun.
Not the hot sun.
Yeah. So, are they hardy because I've never killed my mint 3 times? Have you really? Oh, I'm sorry. Try putting it in a pot. And if the pot is making them die, then put them somewhere they can spread a little bit.
Mint are big time.
They're spreaders.
They take over.
They'll take over your whole garden. They're legit a weed. So they act like a weed.
Becca, you're 14 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to ask her if I can start taking my red raspberry leaf pills.
Do ask her, because you're right. Yeah, you're starting your second trimester. So
here in a couple weeks. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yes.
It didn't die, but almost.
Oh, almost.
I kill most things.
We totally get you. I have kept my okay, one last thing really quick, because I swear my red raspberries, so my raspberry patch, I not only love just raspberries. I love raspberries to eat, because I think it's so weird that they cost $9,000 for this many raspberries. So I love growing.
Because you can get so many.
They're so expensive at the grocery store.
They are, like, they're not easy to harvest.
No, they're not.
It's true. You have to go in and pick one at a time.
But, so I have this raspberry patch, and I know I love red raspberry leaves, right? So I send so much love to this raspberry patch.
Baby.
Yeah, I talk to it, and I love it. And when I see the bees in it, I'm like, oh, thank you, bees.
And it is funny because it grows
really well.
My 5-year-old and 4-year-old, like, came home and told me, because they helped Alina pick raspberries one day, and they were like, Alina said that the berries grow bigger if you talk to them, or like, they were telling me.
They were.
Yeah. Did I not tell you that?
No.
Oh.
I do. I talk to my raspberry plant, and it's the hardiest plant I've ever grown. So talk to your plants, send them lots of love, because they love that.
Name them.
Yeah. Oh, I should name them. Oh, they're so cute. Anyway, you guys, thank you for being here. And
I took the pills to tone my uterus before.
What is FET? What's FET? Fetal electronic something.
I talked to my mint too, and
tell it not to die. Good, it's gonna come back. It loves you.
I love you.
Yes. Becca, what do you mean?
What is FET?
Oh, IVF.
Okay.
We're like, I don't know.
Is that, we should know that? No.
Okay, so you got pregnant with your IVF? Yes.
With your red raspberry pills too.
Did it all work?
So frozen embryo transfer.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
That makes more sense.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And you're 14 weeks. Congratulations.
We're so thrilled for you.
I love that you're doing it all.
Yes.
And that's what I love about women doing fertility treatments. Like, first try. Oh, seriously, girl.
That's a huge blessing. Good for you.
That feels so fantastic.
That does.
And you're 42. Girl, you just keep whipping out the...
Holy moly,
we're impressed.
So awesome.
No, we could be more impressed, and then you just keep going.
That is so exciting. Yeah, Autumn is so happy for you. Yes. We're all happy for you. That is awesome. Yes, I know. Can we give hearts? I want to give some hearts. I don't know how to do that.
No, if we can.
I'm just gonna.
Okay, well, we're so happy you guys are here.
Yeah.
We just love you all. So thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your stories with us and your experience. We love hearing it. So
yes, thank you. And go sign up for our email so we can send you some tea.
Yeah.
Okay, love you a lot.
Have a good night.
Bye.